Hello, everybody. This is Howard the Teaser King. Um, Taking Q&As for today's games. I'll go over some lines, and if there's any injuries that I've learned about or didn't heal, feel free to ask. And I think on YouTube, I used to just do a video, and I'd say, here's who I like, and here's some explanations. And I was able to do that. Hey, Major James, I'm fine, enjoying Saturday morning. So if there's any questions or who do I like in this game, or you want to bet a game and you want to run it by me, then let's do that. I think I have a spider on my glasses. I've discovered that I can do this live, and I like the interaction. Think of me as the professor. So we're not robbing. We are trying to get gold, but that now that we can do live and I can interact, I enjoy that much better because I enjoy teaching. That's what this is about. This is about winning a little at a time and building. It's like buying gold, right? You buy a few ounces, you don't buy 100 ounces, and then you keep adding to it. So that's what we're doing. I really don't look at first half, second halves. I look at the games. I think Alabama will win by at least 10. I think if you tease them, they'll cover. I don't know if it's going to get to 79. It's such a big number. It's hard to lay 79 in college. It's just what happens is when you get a high scoring game, one team eventually gets up 28, 30 points because the other team doesn't have a defense. And then then they end up running the ball, and then they end up, a long drive, or there's field goals, or usually an over-under is determined where the turnovers happen. So if I'm driving and I'm at the 5-yard line and I fumble, it's an under. But if I have the ball at my own 5 and I fumble or intercept, then it becomes an over. So it's a hard. What's the over-under? What's the first half Alabama? Let me know what that line is. But why first half? I've always looked at the whole games. I've never really looked at first half or all this. Alabama's -8 in the first half. Yeah, I like Alabama -8. Is that in a teaser, or can you tease it down to -2, or do you have to play it straight -8? But -8, Alabama tends to jump on teams like they did Florida. They went up 21-3. They're covering machine. Against Florida, they didn't cover, but they jumped out 21-3 straight up. Yeah, I know they're at home. So -8 in the first half I like because I think they jump on Mississippi. I think Mississippi might get, first half's fine, -8. Alabama jumps on teams. They jumped on Florida 21-3. And they, and then Florida slowly came back in, and Florida's defense played great. So I think Alabama -8 in the first half is good. I think they'll jump on Ole Miss. I don't know that it might get to 79, but it's not like Georgia. It's not like Alabama, Florida last year. That one was like a 70 over-under, and that one went to 90, right? Alabama kept scoring, and Trask came back, and I think it was 54-45. But even there, you can see they still won by about 10, I believe, over Florida. But that's where that is. I'm taking Q&A, so if you have any questions be careful on UCF Navy today. UCF's quarterback is out. He broke his clavicle. So, again, you have to watch, how's this UCF quarterback doing? In other words, we're keeping an eye on Mackenzie Milton. He hurt his knee terribly, almost lost his leg, came back, took 2 years. He's a great quarterback, but he's struggling a little now, getting back into the rhythm, getting his mindset, like, am I going to hurt my knee again? So he's a great quarterback. He's not ready yet. So here's the problem in college. Here's UCF. They lose Dylan Gabriel, broken clavicle out. I don't know if he's out for the year or a couple, 5-6 weeks. How's their backup? And that's why we watch college football. You look at the box scores, you look at the quarterback stats, and you see what he did. Who knows? He's probably pretty good. These guys seem to step up and are pretty good. Hey, Peter, have you ever tried the 13-point teasers? No, I've never tried those. 10-point teasers, I've tried. I find the odds on 13-point aren't really good. I mean, you got to pick so many winners to break even. And I don't know that I needed the 13-point. Usually I'm pretty good at just taking 6 away, finding the games. But I could see Alabama, you take it down to 1 is a great bet today. Where do you play these 13-point teasers? Is there a site or do you have a card? I'd be interested. I mean, certainly I can pick 25 games with 13-point teasers. I can probably pick almost every game on the board. But what do you got to pick, like 10 games to forget 2-1? Alabama, Penn State, and Memphis. I can think of better games. I do like Alabama. I do like Penn State. Memphis is playing some shitty team, I think. Who's Memphis got? Memphis, Temple. Yeah, they should beat Temple. Heritage Sportsbook. I'll have to check it out. So what are your odds then? If you play that 3-team teaser, what are do you get even money, or do you at least get 2-1? Well, probably not for 3 teams. One team I like today that is kind of hidden, that it's what I do is find the talent, is Oregon State in a book in Tijuana, Mexico. Okay. Be safe there. Don't drink the water. If you can bet that. As I was saying, Oregon State, I was watching the USC highlights of Oregon State yesterday. There's a little on YouTube. You can see it. It's a 20-25 minute. Let me try to get a better light. 20-25 minute highlights. And it goes through all 4 quarters and the scoring plays. And I'll tell you, that quarterback on Oregon State looks like Joe Burrow. This guy, super smooth, great passer. They had great receivers. They were down like 14-7 to USC, and it was like a joke. They just boom, boom, boom. And they put up 48 or so on USC, which is obviously got good talent. This week they play Washington, and they're only 1.5 point favorites. And I'm like, you've got to be there. That line should be Oregon State -7 at least, if not 10. Washington isn't showing anything. Okay, they got killed by Michigan. Cal, they beat Cal 31-24. So they don't have defense. Okay, that's what you look for. Washington doesn't have the defense that they normally have. They got a new coach. Obviously, he's not very good, or it's going to take him a while. And Oregon State, with this offense, you watch it, they almost remind me of LSU 2 years ago. Let's see them again today. But this team, Oregon State, they're going to win the Pac-10. They're going to beat Oregon with this offense. You have to play 4 plays to get at least 120. How many do you have to play to get money, to get a positive? 5 plays? Would you take Michigan? No, I would play the game under in a 13-point teaser. I don't trust Michigan at Wisconsin. They have no quarterback. 5 teams. 5 teams is a joke. We can do 5 teams. Can you play over-unders in that 5-team teaser? I assume you can. Can you play it with the pros? Can you play like 3 college, over-under college, and like 2 pro teams? You imagine? Oh, okay. Don't call me sir. Call me professor. Only 1 over. Okay, so take Wisconsin under, and then I've given you a bunch here. So take Oregon State and Wisconsin under, and Alabama. And then in the NFL, take Kansas City and Seattle. Here's a different analysis of the pros. You have to, like, you look at Kansas City, and why do I love Kansas City? Because they're 1-2. They've lost 2 games in a row, and you got Oakland and Denver at 3-0. If they lose this game, they're 1-3. This is a matchup, obviously, that Dallas showed you how to beat Philly, and all you got to do is just blitz. They got to just blitz these running quarterbacks, and then Kansas City's going to light them up. But they can't afford to go 1-3, and they're a Super Bowl team. So when a Super Bowl team has to win the game, that's when you get it. Mine is any football game over under NFL, including, okay, so Major James. So there you go. So take 5 teams I just gave you. Take Alabama, and you like your Penn State, and take the Wisconsin game under, and then take Kansas City, Seattle. There you go. Kansas City, like I just said, cannot afford to lose, and Dallas exposed Philly now. I thought Philly maybe had a defense when they held Frisco down, but now you're wondering how good Frisco is. Again, Seattle lost 2 in a row. You can't thank you. You can't. When you get teams like Seattle with Coach Pete, Russell Wilson, and Kansas City, when a strong team loses 2 in a row, they got a lot of pride, and they play their best. You're getting their best game regardless. So that's why you jump on those teams. Kansas City even, I love that game tomorrow. And Seattle, I looked at the series. So what you do is, the best way to predict is history, if you can get it. So you can get a Seattle Frisco history, because they play each other twice a year, and the last 5 have gone to Seattle. Let me see what I got here. So it's all Seattle, right? So Seattle owns Frisco. They're getting points. They're the best road dog in the league in a teaser. They're like 17-1. Yeah, but you can't. Okay, Philly looked terrible, but they're at Dallas. This game's at home against KC. So you've got to ignore the way they looked at Dallas. This is the problem people have betting. You look at the last game, but they're not playing. They're not at Dallas today or tomorrow. That's what you got to get over. You've got to, it's almost like a puzzle every week. So you got to forget all that and say, how does Philly match up with KC? And you can see Dallas exposed that a good passing team can eat them up. Well, you got a good passing team with Mahomes and his boys. They're balanced. They can run. The question is, will their defense, will Spagnuolo blitz this guy? That's the key. If you notice the Cincinnati game against Jacksonville, they didn't blitz Lawrence. They let him run out of the pocket. You can't let him dictate to you. You got to dictate to him. They should have bbeen blitzing that guy. You blitz a Lawrence, you blitz Josh Allen, you blitz any of these young Fields. Look what Cleveland did to Fields. They didn't even blitz him. Just Garrett got there, and they sacked him 5 times. He got 50 yards in a game. And, again, they're not playing in the Big Ten. Fields is not ready for this. Lawrence is not ready for this. He had a better game. He started running more, but that's where I'm saying Cincinnati didn't blitz them the way Denver did and the way Arizona started blitzing. You can't let them just sit in the pocket. Anybody can look good, but the reason I don't like the new quarterbacks is they can't read blitzes. How long does Tom Brady hold the ball? 2 seconds, if that. He knows where to go. He knows who's blitzing him, and he knows how to read it, where to get off, and where he tells the receiver, "Hey, Gronk, go over the middle. I'm going to hit you in 2 seconds." These guys don't do that. They don't know. Lawrence, he doesn't know how to read a blitz in the NFL. None of these guys do. And Urban Meyer certainly doesn't know how to read a blitz in the NFL, maybe in college. But that's why you go after them. So line movements. Army went from -6 to -10. A lot on Army. All I can say, somebody bought my picks, and they're telling people, because that's I had Army very strong today. watch teams like UTSA, Texas San Antonio against Vegas. Memphis had them 21, I think 21-0, and UTSA looked terrible, and they came back and won the game 31-28, I believe, or 30-27. UTSA's got character. They got a great running back, Sonori or Sinise or something is his name. A good quarterback, Frank Harris, well coached. They had balls to come back at Memphis, so look for that. Try to look for teams off of a loss. I don't know who's off of a loss. I didn't even mark it this week. So again, your live dogs I gave you, Ball State, not a good team. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why I played Army, because Army's a very strong team. And Army's quarterback this year, last week, I'm looking at the box score. He ran a 75 and a 77-yarder. You get a good quarterback in Army's scheme or Navy scheme, and that's all. You can't defend it. And Army's got a good quarterback. Navy obviously doesn't. Ohio State, too, today. Yeah, Rutgers, I like Schiano, and he did coach at Ohio State. He was an assistant at Urban, so they might go easy on him a little bit. I think that game could be a little tighter. I did not play Ohio State today, but, I mean, if you tease them down, if you do your 13-point teaser and tease them down to 2, that's definitely a winner. But it could be it's not going to be a 40-point win for Ohio State. Rutgers has a good defense, and he'll know how to defend them. But yeah, I mean, in that 13-point teaser, yeah, but do the 13-point teaser on Ohio State. Not even laying 9. I'm scared. Rutgers played Michigan really good, and you know, they're not the best play on the board, but yeah, I mean, they should win. Great Iowa pick last night. Yeah, well, you've got the defense, right? You never fuck with a good defense. And my friend from Vegas called me and said, well, who do you like? And I said, well, Iowa. And I said, they're going to get at least 3 interceptions from Tagliavua Jr., and they actually got 5. And I told them a great defense always beats a great offense. And I don't think Maryland's got a great offense, but you've got defense beats offense 99% of the time, right? I always would rather bet a strong defensive team than a strong offensive team. You watch, if Georgia plays Alabama, we're taking Georgia in that game because Alabama doesn't have a very good defense, but they have this great offense. But Florida showed you how to shut them down. They got up 21, and then they didn't do anything on Florida. I think they got 10 points the rest of the game. And Georgia is just mighty tough. That'll be a great game today. Georgia and Arkansas. Don't expect a lot of points in that one either. 2 strong defensive teams, and Arkansas is a very good team. They look very good against A&M. I wouldn't lay the 18 points against them. Again, Georgia's beating Vanderbilt, and they're beating shitty teams. Let's see them here, but I think this will be low scoring. Rutgers is definitely much improved, but they need a quarterback. They're going to play Schiano ball, which is run and play defense. Their defense is very good. So keep an eye on them. They're probably a pretty live dog, although I wouldn't play them against Ohio State. I would play them against an Indiana, an Illinois. Them and Iowa played. I'd play that game under. Again, how did they get over yesterday in the Iowa game was 5 interceptions. And I assume looking at the box score, it was all, Iowa scored, and a minute later, Iowa scored again. I'm assuming it was an interception, and then Iowa 2 minutes later scored. I assume that's how you get over are the turnovers and where they happen. So those interceptions must have happened in Maryland territory, leading to easy Iowa scores, because Iowa doesn't drive the ball down the field for 40 points. But that's the thing. So now you see the real Tagliavua Jr. And so when everybody says, oh, he's the number 1 pick because he's Tagliavua's brother, you go back to this game, you say, no, in the big game he choked. That's where I get the Trevor Lawrence and the Tagliavua. That's my point. When they play these good defensive teams, they don't show up. they don't even throw for 50%. He throws, Lawrence against Ohio State didn't, threw for 40% and 110 yards. That's why I don't like him in the pros, because again, in the big games, he doesn't show up. Joe Montana showed up in the big games. That's my point. That's what you look for as a quarterback. Joe Burrow showed up in the big games. That's the guy I want. You watch this Oregon State quarterback showed up against USC for 48 points and looked like Joe Montana or Joe Burrow. So keep an eye on Oregon State's quarterback, but he looks like the real deal. He shows up. Watch him against Oregon in the big game. You give me Oregon State more than 7, that's a lock. I'll take 13 in Oregon State all day against pro teams probably. Yeah, good defense always wins. Do you think Oregon handles Stanford? I like a high total in the game. Yeah, I mean, Stanford, they struggled against UCLA, which I was surprised. Oregon's got a fairly good defense. The question's going to be in that game, will Oregon run the ball like they did against Ohio State? I like Oregon's quarterback. They have that Ohio State game was 35-28, so it was a 63. And if you only get that in an Ohio State game, I don't know. Stanford scored 40 points against USC and somebody else in the Pac-10. And then against UCLA, I did play it over because the over was only 52, and I got there near the end. UCLA wins 35-20. I think that was what was that score last week? But I did have UCLA over last week. Week 3. Just a second. Where did my week 3 go? I had UCLA over in sorry, I'm busy. I don't know where my week 3 is. That's over there. Yeah, I mean, it should be an over, but I think they will handle them. I think they're a better team, and Stanford, they played UCLA well, but UCLA got them. So, yeah, I think Oregon -2 is probably a W. I don't think I'd lay 8 because it could be a close game. I don't know. Stanford found a quarterback, and now they're playing better than against the Kansas State game, but possibly. Your thoughts on this 4-team money line parlay? Bama, Georgia, Chiefs, and Tampa. I'm not crazy about Georgia in the money line. I would take Oregon State. I would take Bama, Oregon State, the Chiefs, and Tampa, or I would take Bama, Army, the Chiefs, and Tampa in a money line. Georgia, Arkansas scares me. I mean, they killed Texas, and then they killed Texas A&M, and Texas doesn't have a defense. A&M's got a great defense. I think this Georgia-Arkansas game, it's stronger. It's A versus A, and I don't like the 18. You'd be better off taking Arkansas in 24 in a teaser. I do love Bama. There's better games in a 4-team teaser. Why do you want to put Georgia as an 18-point favorite in a money line? That's going to kill your money line, because the money line on that's going to be like, bet 100, bet 5,000 to win 100. It's just not really good. I like the Bama, the Chiefs, the Tampa. I would say take Army in that, or take Tennessee over the Jets in that, but not Georgia. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Your money line's terrible. It's way too big to play a money line on the game, and you want to play strong versus weak. That's what I try to present on this when I do these are my thoughts and analysis. Strong against weak. So who's strong against weak today? Penn State. Penn State will kill Indiana because it's a revenge game. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know. Air Force, good in a money line. Oregon State's good in a money line. Oregon probably in a money line. But I don't think you want to play Georgia, Arkansas on a money line. I don't like that. Clemson's not scoring. Do you think Clemson scored big today? No, Clemson never will score big. They don't have a good quarterback. I like the game under. BC's got their backup quarterback who scored some points against Missouri, but I think this is a low-scoring game. I think you got to look at Clemson as an under team. They're not going to score a lot. They're not. They got a great defense, so they're going to play 17-7 games. It's just their defense is incredible. They held Georgia scoreless. Georgia's got a pick six. So if you got Georgia scoreless, you have Georgia scoreless. You have okay. You have that's a serious over team, as you can see when they play Vanderbilt and these other easy teams. So Clemson's defense is, I would not play them in an over game. It's like Wisconsin. I would never play them in an over game. Even though they went over with Notre Dame, they gave them 2 pick sixes and a kickoff return. Notre Dame only got 20 points in the game. Nebraska, yes, I like Nebraska. They've been playing very well. The problem is it's all Adrian Martinez. They don't have a really, where's their running back? Where's the Mike Rozier or somebody that they've always had? And that's the problem, right? So it's all Martinez. So if you spy Martinez like Oklahoma did, you can hold them down. But Northwestern's outclassed in this one. They don't have the defense or they don't have the offense. So I think Nebraska wins this one pretty big. What else? Tonight, if you need a bailout game, Fresno State laying 11 to Hawaii. I think they're explosive as hell. Love their quarterback, Hayner. He's superstar. Hawaii can score, but they have no defense. So that might be your midnight game if you need it. I like a lot in the pros tomorrow, but we'll do one of these in the pros. I got a guy who bought from me, and he says, I put a lot of picks out because I see a game, I like it, I bet it. I don't hold back. If like Penn State today, revenge game, Indiana. Okay, I'm going to bet it. So I end up betting. I probably have 8 or 9 games on my college, on my picks. And he said, I don't want to bet that much. I'll just bet the bigger games. And I'm looking, and I got like 3 or 4 big games that I really like today. And, of course, the lock I like today, too. It's a college pro lock. I really love that one. And then I have a couple of like pros that I added, and then college. As I'm watching the highlights, I watch the highlights a lot. So Oregon State, USC, I see Oregon State's got a great quarterback that you can't read in the box score. You've got to see it. But when you see the way the kid plays, you go, yeah, fuck that guy. That guy's pro already. Like, so it kills me when they talk about these guys like for drafting. Oh, if the number 1 pick, there's no good quarterback out there. And I'm like, are you out of your mind? Are you watching games? You'd see there's a lot. Texas against TCU early game. I don't know. Texas, you can't look at, they put up 70 on Texas Tech. TCU lost to SMU last week. They got a great coach, TCU. I don't know. Really, if I had to play the game, I'd tease the dog. But again, Texas looked good against Rice, and then Texas Tech, but TCU's got a better defense. And SMU put up 45 on them because they can pass the ball all over the place. Texas can't. So until Texas gets a good quarterback, it's hard for them to be a road favorite against a team like a TCU or a Baylor. Watch them against Oklahoma. I think maybe they're live against Oklahoma, but as a dog, you got to be careful with road favorites, college and pro. They better be a good team with a good quarterback to be a road favorite and a strong defense. And Texas does not have a strong defense. How do I rank Texas? Texas, I rank as an over team. So they score a lot and give up a lot. TCU, I have an over team. They score a lot, give up a lot. So maybe this is an over at 65.5. Maybe the best way to play the game if you wanted to play it. But otherwise, I don't think I would. Texas, I got laying 4. I don't. I would probably take TCU and get over 10, and that's it. Yeah, high scoring is well, that's what it looks like. TCU and Texas both score a lot, and I don't see why this wouldn't be high scoring. Neither team really has a strong defense. So that's how you look at a game. Is like Iowa, the Iowa game yesterday? Iowa's got an excellent defense. Maryland doesn't. So I want to bet the defense over the offense. Here, you got Texas and TCU. Neither of them have a good defense, or at least statistically, right? So you can see TCU giving up 45 to SMU, but a lot of teams are going to give up 45 to SMU. I definitely like SMU over South Florida this week. I was watching the South Florida BYU game, and they got South Florida's got a good quarterback. He's like a squirmy guy that he can run, and it's hard to tackle. He reminds me of Quentin Flowers when he was at South Florida. He's a lefty. He's very quick, so the linemen have a hard time tackling him. He'll just avoid him. He'll run for 10, but he does want to pass. He's not a bad passer. So they stink defensively. So SMU is going to score a ton on them. I just don't know SMU's defense against them, but hopefully by watching, they'll put a spy. When these teams blow my mind, it's like when you have this quick quarterback, you've got to take a couple of linemen out and put safeties in. Just have like 3 linemen, but then rush either fast linebackers or safeties because you need to keep the speed up to the quarterback. If you put up a fast guy, a couple of fast safeties, why do you need to rush linemen who can't do anything? So it's 3rd and long, so yeah, against the run, you got to hit the lineman in the game. But when it's 3rd down and this guy's scrambling on you, put out 2 safeties. San Diego showed you how to beat Lamar Jackson a couple years in the playoff game when they had 6 DBs and 2 safeties in the linebacker position, and Jackson would go to run, and the safety was just as fast, and he wouldn't get anything. That's all you got to do. I don't know why it's such a mystery to these coaches. That and the 3-man line to prevent long passes, which doesn't work. That blows my mind. If I was coaching and I got 4th and 22, guess what? I'm rushing 6 guys. I'm putting in a blitz that the guy doesn't have time to throw the ball 20 yards down the field. Because half the time the DBs, you got 8 DBs out there, what do? They're all standing around in a zone. The fast wide receivers are, they're never covered. So it just ends up being open passes, and it's the stupidest defense in the world. Good game to watch today's Notre Dame Cincinnati. I was praying that Notre Dame would be favored, and I'm a little bit surprised they're home dogs. Their quarterback is playing Notre Dame's. He's probable, so whatever the injury was last week, he's fine. Cincinnati I love, but I don't know that I love them as a road favorite at Notre Dame. If Notre Dame was a 3-point favorite, I would lock Cincinnati in 9 so fast your head would swim. In this situation, Notre Dame is a home dog. They got the refs in their pocket. It's going to be really hard for Cincinnati to blow out Notre Dame here. And I know Notre Dame's coming off an emotional game against Wisconsin, but this is a home dog. Last week they were in Chicago, so it was a neutral site. Here they're a home dog. Notre Dame, you can't fuck with them as a home dog. I'm sorry. I'm not betting it because I love Cincinnati, but think of this as Ohio State Notre Dame because it's Cincinnati's coached by the Ohio State coach. So Luke Fickell, who sucked at Ohio State, and then he goes to Cincinnati, probably talked to Urban, and probably Urban told him how to coach, and now he's a much better coach. They got a great defense. They got a great quarterback, Ritter. He could run, but he's Russell Wilson, and he's a very accurate passer. I would draft that guy first round. But I can't. They did beat Indiana handily at Indiana. I believe it was Indiana. It was a Big Ten team, And again, they were road favorite, and they did blow them out. So very hard game to call here, but very hard to not take Notre Dame as a home dog. But I respect Cincinnati. Probably the only time if Ohio State was at Cincinnati, was at Notre Dame, I would probably take Ohio State laying 2 or 7. But here, it's just very dangerous, and nothing good happens when you make Notre Dame a home dog if you don't bet on them. It goes back to the Joe Montana green jersey game when USC was number 1 and Notre Dame killed them. So I'm always leery of Notre Dame as a home dog. And you never know what color jersey they're going to wear today. So, but it's a good game to watch. You'll see Cincinnati is a damn good team and a damn good quarterback. We'll get a true flavor on Notre Dame here. What else? Let's see. So watch UCF's quarterback. Let's see who the backup is. Another good dog I like, Baylor Oak State. Baylor, what I like about Baylor is they got 600 yards of offense, 300 passing, 300 running. When you got balance like that, that's what you're going for, right? If you're one-dimensional, I can blitz you if you're just passing and you're done. Like Maryland, Iowa yesterday, right? Well, Iowa just played tough deep, put pressure on the quarterback. They couldn't run. They were done. Baylor, though, gives you 2 good running backs. And like I said, 300 yards running, 300 yards. How do you defense that? What the hell are you going to do? Plus, you got Oak State, who's not a very high-scoring team this year. They're laying, I got 4.5 now. You take Baylor in 10.5 or one of your 13-point teasers, they're going to score a lot. They got well balanced. How the hell is Oklahoma State going to defend them? You can't blitz them. They just hand the ball off. Good luck stopping their run. And once the run's going, the pass opens up. They got a good quarterback. Bohannon, I think, was from Texas Tech or one of these where he transferred in. But he's a very good quarterback. They're an over team. Oak State's an under team. So Oak State, how are they going to blow them out if they don't score a lot? And Baylor can score in bunches and has that balanced offense. So Baylor's a live dog for that reason. You're looking for balanced offenses, right? Okay. So they're a very live dog. So that's what you're looking for, is a balanced offense who can score against a weak, an under team who doesn't score a lot. I don't think Oak State's defense is it's like Georgia's and Clemson's. Unless Notre Dame is in championship game, leave Notre Dame alone. They win regular season games. Well, yeah, this is regular season. They're a home dog. That's why I'm saying. I'm not saying to play them, but I'm saying to watch it. It's a game to avoid, but we'll see how good Cincinnati is if they can beat Notre Dame by more than 10 points. I think it'll be, 28-20 type of game. I think if it gets close at the end, I think Cincinnati wins. They're not going to get 2 pick sixes against Cincinnati like they did against Wisconsin. And they'll be a little bit flat from the Wisconsin game. But again, if Notre Dame was favored, I'd lock Cincinnati because then you would think they'd be flat. But now they're not going to be flat because they're a home dog. So that'll be a real test. I think Notre Dame next week, I bet against them because after a Wisconsin game and now a Cincinnati game, they're going to be flat the next week. So I talked about Baylor. So that's what you look for. You're looking for explosive teams against weak teams. A team like Baylor, a live dog. I think Georgia Tech's a live dog today. Why? Well, they look good against North Carolina, who is a better team than Pitt. Pitt's a passing team. So is North Carolina. Georgia Tech killed them. They held to nothing, had some interceptions on them. Here you got them against Pitt. They're a home dog. 3.5, you get 9.5. And again, Pitt's just a passing team. Well, they just beat North Carolina. So there's your proof. And Georgia Tech, they played Clemson, but Clemson doesn't have that strong of an offense. And yes, Georgia Tech did lose to Northern Illinois. But then they played like Camixie or some bullshit Division III high school team, and they blew them out, but it gave them confidence. So then when they beat North Carolina, now I believe they're not a real bad team. They're getting better. I think they're a live dog just because they got a really good defense, and they scored a lot on, they blew out North Carolina. It wasn't a fluke. Again, Michigan, Wisconsin, that's a under game. I was hoping Michigan would be favorite. I would have loved Wisconsin as a road dog, as a home dog. But Wisconsin's laying 2. The over-under is 43.5. Love the under. I don't think you're going to get 20 points in the game. This is a Bo Woody 1973 10-10 tie type of score. I think Michigan's got a good defense. You are not running on Wisconsin. And you saw Michigan against Rutgers, who doesn't have half the defense as Wisconsin. And you're going to see that. Now, I know what's confusing people. They're looking at Wisconsin and they're going, well, they're 1-2. Yeah, but they lost to Penn State, who can throw, and Notre Dame, who can throw. And again, 2 pick sixes don't make the Wisconsin defense bad, and a kickoff return. You can't run on Wisconsin, and that's all Michigan can do. They haven't shown passing, and I don't know a team that's like, well, we won't show you until the Ohio State game, then we'll show you passing. They're like, no, you pass right away. I think their best receiver went down with the knee, Bell, so Michigan really is in trouble passing the ball. They're going to, they think they had trouble against Rutgers. They're going to have serious trouble here. Wisconsin doesn't have a quarterback, so they're going to pound the ball. So it's going to be run versus run, which is no points. The key will be a turnover. So I do not like Michigan as a road dog in this game. They do not play well on the road against good teams. Derek, I know you said Michigan, but Wisconsin stopped the run. I think the quarterback plays better. Slash shot to show Wisconsin. No, I didn't say to take Michigan. I said if Michigan was favored, I liked Wisconsin as the dog. I do not like Michigan in this game. Michigan is a bad road dog. They're bad on the road against good teams. Ohio State, Penn State, which they play every year. Wisconsin, when they go to Wisconsin, they do not play well. Not since Bo or not since Tom Brady was there. No, don't be sorry, Derek. It's okay. But I always wanted Michigan to be favored because I wanted Wisconsin. Wisconsin's a home dog. That's a lock. If Wisconsin was getting 3 in the game, like Cincinnati. If Notre Dame was 3, I locked Cincinnati. If Michigan was laying 2, I locked Wisconsin. That's how strong I feel. But no, Michigan in this game, unless they come out and unless Harbaugh quarterbacks or Andrew Luck comes back, I don't see Michigan being able to throw. You can't run on Wisconsin, so you're going to have a very low-scoring defensive game. You might get a turnover. Michigan could get lucky and get a fumbled punt and kick a field goal to win, but in a just normal game, I think Wisconsin at home, after losing the way they lost to Notre Dame, this is gonna be Wisconsin's best game of the year. Look for them. They'll probably shut out Michigan. Michigan maybe gets 7. Wisconsin can only maybe get 20 on Michigan because Michigan's got a strong defense too. So I look for this to be very low scoring. Again, I like to tease down to up to 49.5 from 43.5. 43.5 is a little bit low. You can get some fluke scores. 49.5, now you need both teams in the 20s, which I don't see that happening here. But definitely, Wisconsin's is going to win this game. I just don't see any way Michigan can win, especially because Wisconsin's 1-2. They have to win. Michigan doesn't. And that's huge on the mind of the coach and the players. When the players, there's something called come on, don't have a brain freeze. The Art of War. And the Art of War says it's a Chinese or Japanese general from 5,000, 2,000 years ago or whatever. So he wrote all this shit down, how to win. And every NFL coach uses this. Belichick uses it. I use it. And what it says is you don't fuck with the strength, right? You look for the weakness. The other thing it tells you is, oh my God, I just lost my thought. Oh, shit. It was a good comment, but oh yeah. When you have a team, when you have like an army with their backs to the wall, they fight hard. But they know this is it. We're gonna die. We're cornered, and this is it. So we either fight or die. When their backs are truly against the wall, that's when they play the best. Wisconsin's backs are against the wall here, right? Kansas City tomorrow's backs are against the wall. Seattle's backs in the pros are against the wall. They have to win, right? Seattle goes to 1-3, their season's over. KC goes to 1-3, their season's over. They have to win, and they have the talent. Wisconsin loses, their season's over. They'll be 1-3, 2 Big Ten losses. Forget it. Their backs are against the wall. They're a capable team, strong defense, strong running, good coaching. Just their quarterback kind of sucks. I don't know why they can't recruit another Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson actually went to North Carolina State and transferred there, but that's the type of quarterback they need. So I don't know why Wisconsin never gets a good quarterback. They always get this guy who can throw a 10-yard pass and that's it. But Wisconsin's back is against over last week's game. Plus they lost to Penn State. Look for their best game of the year. Is it good enough? Against the Michigan, if this was Ohio State, I'd worry because, Ohio State. But against this Michigan team without really a passing offense, I don't see how it can, they can't get to the matchup. The matchup is that you can pass on them. Penn State did it. Notre Dame did it. Not for a lot of points, but enough to get to 20 points. Michigan can't do that. And it's funny with Harbaugh, he doesn't get quarterbacks that can throw the ball. It's amazing. So it shows you Andrew Luck was really taught by his dad, not by Harbaugh. And then in Frisco, he went with Mr. Kaepernick, who I don't like to talk about, but he ran the ball. He couldn't teach him how to throw. And he still got to the Super Bowl. I don't know why Harbaugh is struggling so much at Michigan, why he can't keep players. Charbonneau transferred to UCLA, and there's so many transfers there, and he's not developing a quarterback. Every year it's a new quarterback. It's freaking ridiculous. So I don't know what's going on with Harbaugh, how he was so good at Stanford. Remember, he beat USC with Coach Pete and that great team as 40-point dogs. He hasn't done anything like that at Michigan. And he goes to the Super Bowl. Should have went 2 more years, but they fumbled punts. In the Giant game, when the Giants beat New England, Frisco's got the Giants killed. The Giants can't even get a first down. Giants punt, and the punt returner fumbles. So what does he do? The next time out, he leaves the punt returner out there, and he fumbles again. And the Giants kick a field goal and go to the Super Bowl. And you're like, what the fuck are you doing, Harbaugh? The guy chokes under pressure. You don't put him out there again. You don't teach him a lesson. You lose. So it's terrible. He has terrible special team coaching. But that's what you look for in this game is the backs are against the wall. So whenever you see that, that's a great reason to jump on a team. So when a good team loses, like if Florida loses again, their backs are against the wall because they lost to Alabama. I don't see them losing to Kentucky. I think they beat Kentucky. I like that spread. Florida's 7.5. Cut it to 1.5. All I got to do is win. Kentucky's okay. I meI mean, they're a little stronger this year, but they haven't really beaten anybody. But the way Florida handled Alabama, I don't see them losing. All I got to do is win against Kentucky. I don't see that being a problem. Careful with Oklahoma, Kansas State. Oklahoma always has trouble with Kansas State. And I'm beginning to wonder if Oklahoma is all that this year. Rattler doesn't look very good because they made their offense into I need a fast quarterback, so I spread the field with my receivers and the quarterback runs. like Murray and Hurts. That's all they did. They got half their points on the quarterback scrambling, and this quarterback doesn't. Rattler is not fast and doesn't scramble. So all of a sudden it's passing, and there's nobody open, and they're stuck. So I don't think Oklahoma, they could not easily, but they could get upset by Kansas State. Kansas State has their number. They know how to defend some, and they run the option with a good quarterback, and they tend to get rolling, and they know how to score on Oklahoma, and they know how to defend them. So that could be an upset today, Kansas State. It's just they know how to play them, and they're a home dog. So that's it. A&M, Mississippi State, I looked for an under in that game. A&M has no offense and a great defense. Mississippi State, I watched the LSU game. They didn't look all – it's just Leach throwing little passes all around. They're not going to do anything on A&M. A&M doesn't have an offense. So you're over under there, I think it's 46 if I'm reading my number. Problem is I changed my number, so it's 49, and then it goes to 48, so I write over it, and it goes to 47 on my sheet. So I look for that as an under. So you look for your teams like, Iowa or A&M or Georgia, and those are the games you play under normally. Iowa got all these interceptions, but normally they're an under team. And that's the thing that happens. That's why it's not 100%, because you get teams like in Iowa, and then they get the 5 interceptions, so the game goes over, even though it should have not went over. Maryland's coach had his head up his ass and decided we're going to keep throwing 3 interceptions, 4 interceptions, 5 we're just going to keep throwing interceptions because, once the game got out of hand, he didn't try running, but it was like insanity. We'll keep throwing. We're going to keep throwing interceptions. Bad matchup. So that's why normally that's why I like Michigan, Wisconsin under. You're not going to get the turnovers. How did the Notre Dame, Wisconsin game get over? 2 pick sixes. You're not going to get that today. Michigan's going to run the ball and save passes, and they'll throw interceptions, but they probably won't be pick sixes. And then Wisconsin's quarterback probably has the very short leash where he's going to throw screen passes and the behind the line shovel passes. That's about all this kid's going to throw. He's terrible, obviously. So that leads to an under where there's a lot of running and strong defenses. So unless you have a ton of turnovers, that's what makes an under game an over game. So in Alabama, Mississippi, the question, should I go over? Again, it's so high at 79. I see eventually Alabama just pounding the ball to keep Mississippi's offense off the field. And, so when you got a team that can run and they can smart about it, that's why it doesn't get to the 79, as one team says, we're going to run. And then maybe they intercept them in the end zone or in the red zone, and that makes an over game an under game. And I just see too much of that Alabama game. Alabama's too strong to not run the ball on Mississippi to keep them off the field. So that's what you have to look for. Any other questions, comments? Michigan State, Western Kentucky, interesting game. Michigan State laying 11.5, over under 65. Western Kentucky, great quarterback, throws for almost 500 yards a game, if you can believe it. So basically 99% of the plays are passes. Very well coached team, Western Kentucky. Michigan State played Nebraska, played them pretty tough. I don't think Michigan State, I don't know about laying the 11.5. Probably an over here. Michigan State, they have that good running back, although he didn't show up against Nebraska. He shows up against the weaker teams. I see this as Michigan State's going to have to score. Michigan State's got a very good quarterback, a balanced offense. Nebraska gave them all they wanted. That shows you how strong Nebraska's defense is, the way they held Oklahoma and then Michigan State. 2 potent offenses to nothing. So Michigan State, I think, needs to score, and Western Kentucky's going to throw it all over the place. They lost to Indiana last week, 33-31, so they can score on Big Ten teams. Michigan State's defense when you pass the ball over, I don't see, Michigan State's best chance is to run the ball. But the problem is they'll run the ball with Walker. He'll go for touchdowns. So then it's not going to run to control the clock to keep them off. They're going to run and score. I could see that game getting over. 65, you go to 59. 59 is 35-28 is 63. I think that's easy. I think Western Kentucky definitely gets into the mid-20s at least, and Michigan State should have a big day putting up 35-40, but I don't see where the reserves come in. Like in certain games, you get up 42-0, and then here come the reserves, and then you get backdoored. I don't see how Michigan State can relax against this offense, and I don't see what they're going to do against this offense. They don't have the Iowa defense where they would just put pressure on them, and that would be it. See, that's the difference. An Iowa defense, a Wisconsin defense, I'd have a hard time with Western Kentucky here, but with Michigan State's defense, they're really not that strong defensively, and they're going to score a lot, and they're well balanced. So I look for this to be high scoring. Good game in the Pac-8. Arizona State, UCLA. UCLA laying 3, over under 55. Both teams are over teams as far as they score a lot and they really kind of give up a lot. They don't have that Wisconsin, Clemson, Georgia defense. That's what I look at as an under, is when you have that defense, when the teams can barely score on you. So I don't know. I can't take UCLA laying 3. As strong as their offensive looked, Arizona State's got talent. And I know they lost to BYU. BYU beat Utah, so BYU is not a bad team. So I don't know here. This is a conference game, and they're a road dog. It's totally different. Now, Arizona State and the desert is different than Arizona State not in the desert. UCLA, again, strong offense. Their quarterback is questionable. He hurt his hand, or I think it's his hand or his shoulder. I saw him on the injury list, so he'll play, I'm sure, but he is a little bit banged up. So I'm sure Arizona State will go after him. My mom, teasing college football and an easy way to lose money. Good luck, old man. Thank you very much, your mom. This is a class. I'm the professor. So if you don't like what I'm saying, or you think I'm an idiot and we're going to lose money, why are you watching? So we're here to learn and teach, and I make a lot of money on teasers. So I don't need those comments. So please get off if you're going to make these comments, or listen and you might learn something. I've been doing this for 40 years, and I bought lots of good things with them, and I live a very nice life. So if you know what you're doing, it's like playing the stock market or anything else. If you know what you're doing, you make money at it. If you don't know what you're doing, you lose money at it. So I guess I know when you're teasing football, you don't know what you're doing. So no negative comments are allowed here. I'm sorry, everybody. Back to UCLA, Arizona State. So this should be a very good game. Now, if we try to predict the score, right, that I like to do, it's a very close game. Maybe 37-34 or 31-28, something like that. That's how I see the game. So I might even take Arizona State as the dog, especially if the UCLA quarterback's a little injured. Outside of that, 55.5, probably over 49.5. Unless if the UCLA quarterback's out, then take Arizona State. But if he plays, then it's probably an over 49. Neither team's defense is super strong, and in a conference game, they'll score more. So that's what I'm looking for. So I guess that's pretty much it. Any comments? Any other things? The line. Let's talk about the line. This is a good thing. The line makes the betting even. It does not make the game even, and is in no way intended to. Wisconsin's -2 over Michigan it's to make the betting even, because they know Michigan on the road sucks, but Michigan's got a big following, so they make Michigan like that. Hi, Nick. Let's have a good day. Absolutely. Nick's one of my friends and customers. The line it's supposed to make the betting even. And so you watch line movements. I watch line movements for my bets. I watch line movements strictly for, is there an injury, right? If a line drops, so a line's at 9 and goes to 6, I go, why? And, I know there is no such thing as sharps. I'm about as sharp as you're going to get. And it's still, nothing is a certainty when predicting the future. But I check for injuries, right? Because if all of a sudden, let's say Baltimore, Denver, and the game's even, all of a sudden Denver is a 6-point favorite, I'm going to go, well, I know the money's not going on Denver. And then I'll look, and Lamar Jackson's got a hurt back, but he did practice Friday. And then I'll say, oh, maybe Lamar Jackson's out, and then that might lead me to Denver. But otherwise, I'm just really looking at the line movements to see if there's an injury or something. So if all of a sudden Arizona State goes to even against UCLA, then I'm going to assume the UCLA quarterback isn't playing, and then I'll bet Arizona State. So I'll look at the line movement for that. Outside of that, I don't look at the line movement to make any bets. And I know there's guys I'll be playing poker at like the Venetian, and some guy will make a bet without knowing anything about the game because he's betting against the public because he thinks the public's going to lose. And he'll sit there and the spread goes from 7 to 9. He takes the 9 because he says, well, all those people are going to lose. I mean, it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. I was there. There was Michigan was playing Kansas State in the ball game, and Michigan's quarterback got hurt. I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And so Michigan's quarterback's out. They got the backup. The backup stunk. I mean, he hadn't played. So I had a big lock on Kansas State. And so I'm sitting at the poker table, just talking to the guys. I'm Teaser King, I love Kansas State. And the line was moving on Kansas State. And the guys, well, I'm going to bet Michigan because the line's moving. I go, the quarterback's out. They can't win. I mean, they have no chance. What are you doing? And then Kansas State beat them by 20 points. That was Lockett was there at the time at Kansas State. And he lit them up, and they won easily. And I just looked at the guy like, you got to know the information. You can't just blindly because of the spread. You have to understand the spread is there because of an injury. Then it's a whole different ball game. Todd, Professor, would you consider Colorado a Z? Consider taking USC to win after last week's loss? I do consider Colorado. I don't know if it's a Z team. Oh, there you are. It's easy. I think they're an under team. I think they have no quarterback. They cannot score, right? The problem is the way Oregon State looked. Okay, now I found a great quarterback at Oregon State. I think his name's Logan. I thought about USC, and I agree with you. Colorado is a very weak team, and USC, my first blush was -1. Absolutely. I have them circled. I didn't play them because I found the Wisconsin under and some other and Clemson under that I said I liked more. That's my problem. I like 20 teams, and then I'm trying to weed out the losers and then get to my base of 8 to 10 teams. But, yeah, you could play USC to win. I don't think Colorado – see, Oregon State had the quarterback and Stanford to beat USC. Obviously, USC's got a weak secondary. But I don't think Colorado can hurt them. And, yeah, after the loss, I do think USC can win there. There's other games I like stronger, but, yeah, I think USC gets to win. Nick got my good luck chain on today, too. Big day today. Yeah, I got my good luck shirt and my Packer sweatshirt. So I go to the Packer sweatshirt when I need it. Derek, it's easy to sit behind a computer and take shots when you don't know what the hell you're doing. Let's continue. Yeah, I know, Derek. That's why that's the conception is here's my answer to people that don't think you make money on teasers is, why are the odds? If teasers are so easy to pick, why are the odds so bad? Like, I used to do it when I was younger. It was even money. Then it went to 11-10, like a regular bet. And then sometimes they're even 12-10, but you can still find them at 11-10. Well, if there's such a sucker bet, why are the odds so bad? Obviously, Vegas is getting beat on teasers. And if you know what you're doing, you can make a lot of money in teasers with the locks and putting, my lock today's in 2 games, in 2 teasers. My lock tomorrow's in 2 teasers. I got Wisconsin in 2 teasers today. So when you find the game, so the key is, can you analyze the game? And if you can analyze the game and you go, fucking Wisconsin, Michigan, that's 49.5, forget it. They'll never get there. Well, if it's a good bet, play it in 2 teasers. I don't like to play it in too many teasers, but I do like 2. Now, if I was playing on my Twitter account, I have my betting slip where I had a 10-team teaser and an 11-team teaser, and I won them both. And in that instance, I did play like Florida State over Auburn. That was they were laying 7. I was -1. That was the year Florida State won the title. I had them in like 5 teasers. I had them in the 11-team, the 10-team, a 7-team, and then I had them in a 3-teamer with Michigan State, Stanford Rose Bowl, and another game. And then I played them in a 2-teamer. So that was an extreme exception where I had them in like 2 teasers, but then I had them in my 10 and 11. So if you play a 10-team teaser, yeah, you're going to play the lock in the 10-team teaser and the 11-team teaser and the 7-team. You're just going to keep pounding it and then hope it wins. If it loses, you lose. But that's why you're getting all these odds. I think 20 and I won 500 for $20 and an 11-team and a 10-team teaser. So even though I lost a few of them, that made up for it right there, hitting all those. Nick, that's right, Derek. I was one of the skeptics, but it took time for me to understand how TK works. People forget it's gambling at the end of the day. Yeah, I mean, do you feel good in the stock market, or do you feel good in like gold being manipulated and all this taxes and inflation going on? I mean, so it's all, anytime you read the future, I mean, it's difficult, but because I've been doing it since, as I said, I remember betting USC Notre Dame in the Anthony Davis game. So if you know anybody that bet that game and won, and I had USC -7 at the time, I started doing teasers in the Earl Campbell, Joe Montana Cotton Bowl. So that's 76 or 77. So you know anybody that's been doing handicapping and still betting since then, let me know. But I've found the holy grail. I mean, I've learned why I've lost, and I've got my trends, and I know what to look for, what not to look for. And I know why I lose. Normally I lose because of turnovers. If you bet an under and you get a lot of turnovers, and they're at the wrong side of the field, you're going to lose it. But if it's just a normal game, which is what you assume, the unders are going to be unders and the overs will be under. Like if Alabama runs the ball for 30 minutes today, then that Mississippi game's not going over, and that could happen. So you're always trying to understand what's going on, and the biggest question is why do I lose a bet? Like I called the Iowa Maryland game because of the defense, and I didn't expect Iowa to win by 50 points, but it was nice. But I knew to stay away from Maryland because of the defense. You always want defense over offense. Derek, like you always say, don't put all your apples in one basket. Even if you don't get pocket aces, be smart. Even if you do get pocket aces, how many times does that hold up? I'll give you an interesting poker scenario. So I'm great at reading people at the poker table, and I'm an outstanding poker player. And I've been doing it since I was 13. I started playing poker, but we never had hold'em. When I was 13, we were playing 7-card stud with a spit. So you'd get 7-card stud, and you'd spit a card in the middle, so you had one community card and you're 7. And then we play high-low with it and all these different games. And what I learned was watching people's reactions. So I learn on the reaction. So when I have pocket aces in a local Detroit game, it's different in Vegas because it's bigger stakes. But in Detroit, I'll make like a $20 pre-flop bet. I got pocket aces, and I don't want to play against the whole table. And then I'll get a call by an old guy, and I know he's tight. So you know the player. And then the flop comes, 6, 8, 10 or whatever, or, queen, 8, 4. There's no straight, there's no flush. He checks to me. So instead of betting a big bet, I bet like $25, enough that if he missed the flop, he's going to go out. If he more than likely, he called me with a pair of sevens or something, let's say. So he's got a pair of sevens hoping for a set. I got my aces. He knows I have aces because I bet 20 pre-flop. So what do I have if I'm betting 20 pre-flop? So he checks. I bet another, let's say 30. And then if he check raises me, I fold 100% of the time because I know he hit a set. And he knows I have aces, so he figures I'm not going to fold to a big bet, to a check raise. And I'm right 100% of the time. They flopped a set on me, and I folded because I'm reading the bet. All the guy had to do was call me. If he calls me, I think he's got a pair. But when they all check raise me because they know I'm strong and they think that they can check raise me, I'm going to call them. So they're like, oh, we're going to get Howard for a lot. They never get me for a lot. I never call a check raise in Detroit. The players aren't as advanced as you see on TV, Doyle Brunson type, where they check raise and they're bluffing. Here, when they check raise, they got a big hand, so I can get out of the way. But that's what you learn is you learn what's going on. So that's what I do in football, and I do it in all life, at work or everything. I'm very good at reading people and situations and asking the questions. So I asked the question, why did Oregon State light up USC? What's going on there? They put up 48. And then when I saw the highlights, I said, fuck, they got a quarterback out there who's as good as Mackenzie Milton when healthy. This guy's a Joe Burrow. Jesus, look at the passes he's making, the receivers. So now I'm on Oregon State because I watched the highlights, and I said, why did Oregon State blow them out? It wasn't USC turnovers, and this guy's a superstar. Well, thank you, Derek. I'm here to help. Again, I'm the professor now after the money heist. So I want to teach my students how to win and what to look for. I thought about it because this is a live video and I can interact with everybody. I thought about this because when I do my video and I'm just by myself saying, here's who I like and here's some reasons, I can't get the interaction, so I can't really do a Q&A. I'll do one tomorrow about 11 to 12, the same time for the pros. And what we're looking for is injury. Like tomorrow, injury. Is Lamar Jackson playing? The line movements, what's going on, and stuff like that. So I can explain it, and you can be careful of injuries. All my bets are already in. I could always add one, but I added a few last night. I just looking at the standings, another thought of how I can predict. And when I saw Kansas City was 1-2 and Oakland and Denver were 3-0, I said, fuck, they got to win. I remember that happened a couple of years ago with New England. They started out like 1-2 and they were playing Miami, I think. And Miami was 3-0. And I said, shit, if they lose the game, I think it was Miami. If they lose the game, they're going to be 3 games back. They have to win, and New England won by 30. So it was, when you got a good team and they have to win, they're going to, like I said, that when the backs are against the wall, you always bet you're going to get the best effort, and that's what you had there. Professor has been teaching me 2 to 3 years now. He knows I'm putting in. I gave Nick my spreadsheet to help him out. Basically, I track all the teams, if they're home favorite or dog, if they're road favorite or dog, and it really helps because you can see the personality of the team and the coach by seeing, like I say with San Diego, right? San Diego's the worst home favorite in the world. They're like 14-0 against as a home favorite, yet on the road they're 17-0. So depending on where you got San Diego, this is how you bet them. So I had them as a road dog against Kansas City. They win the game outright. Here they're a home favorite to Oakland. I took Oakland because now they're a home favorite, and as a home favorite, for whatever reason, they choke up. So they're good when they're supposed to lose, they get mad. But when they're favored and they're supposed to win, they can't handle it and they lose or they don't cover. So that's why I do the trends. It's all personality. I get that back. I used to play racquetball with my friends, and this idea hit me that if there's three people and A beats B and B beats C and C beats A, what do you bet on when A plays B? Well, if B beats A, I'm going to bet B every time, and that's what led me to this. So I've been looking for the Holy Grail for a long time, and I found it like in the early mid 80s. I found the Holy Grail of betting football. So yeah, Joe Montana made me a ton of money, especially as a road favorite, laying 7. You'd cut it to 1. He'd win the game. Jimmy Johnson made me a fortune. All Miami, Snellenberger. That was my first really huge bet. I had Miami in 14 in the Nebraska game in 84, and Miami wins the game. I had 14 with that defense and all. I mean, Miami was an A team, right? They had Bernie Kosar. They had a great offense. They had a great defense. They had speed for Nebraska. Nebraska did all they could, but Miami won 35-34, and it was not. I mean, Miami was up 17-0, then 34-7. So you never sweated in the game, and that was the beginning of Miami. But then you just kept betting them in those situations. So once you get a team that they have to win that game, right? Miami had to win the game against Nebraska. Once they won it, then you knew. Then they had the confidence. If they keep losing it, like Buffalo and like Baltimore, they can't win that game, so you can't count on them. Kansas City's won that game, and now Tampa won with Brady, and they won at New England. Okay, so it's now game time. So if you have any other last questions, let me know. I covered the late game, so if you need a game tonight, take Fresno State. They're laying 11-64. It could go over or Fresno State -5 if you have to bet a late game. But if you really need a game, if you need a game, just take. I got my lock going tomorrow, or take Kansas City, Seattle in a teaser tomorrow would be good. Again, Wisconsin under. Oregon State today, my lock today. I have some other strong ones. Again, go to www.teaserking.com. You can buy the pros, the college, the weekly, a monthly, a yearly, whatever package you want, just the locks. If you buy the weekly, you get the locks. If you buy pro, you get pro locks. If you buy college locks. If you buy everything, you get all the locks. So I give a price break if you go monthly or yearly from the weeklies. So anyway, you heard most of my stuff. That's why if you have a question, let me know, and I'll try to answer it here. So, all right, everybody, have a great week, great weekend. Good luck. I hope you all make some money, and we can shut up that girl that thinks it's an easy way to lose money. So she probably has Tesla stock, which is going to get crushed when the market goes down. So, whatever. It's easy to be negative, I guess, if you want to be, or you can be positive if you want. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. www.teaserking.com. The professor signing off. All right. Come on.